Hey guys, what's going on? Megan here. All right, quiz, true or false. Let's test your knowledge on testosterone, and hopefully this could also help you plan your workouts, plan your meal plans, and stuff like that. All right, too much protein can destroy testosterone levels by almost 40% based on the scientific evidence. And again, too much protein defined as more than 35% of your daily calories. So is it true? Is it false? 83% of subscribers voted false, 17% voted true. So, what do you guys think the answer is? Before I announce it, I'll give you a few seconds. The answer is actually true. And this has been backed up by a lot of studies, and I want to explain why. But yes, too much protein, even though protein is really good for you, remember, guys, inverted U curve, right? Anything that's good for you, if you don't have enough of it, it's bad. If you have too much of it, it's also bad, right? That applies to everything in life, everything in fitness, life, you name it. The answer is true, right? And the reason is simple. So I'm going to tell you guys the reason why, and then I'm going to go over the comments and see what everybody has to say. Long story short, if you eat too much protein, right? So usually way more than the recommended 1 gram per pound of lean body weight, stuff like that. What happens is you're gonna have less fats, and we know fats is one of the most important macronutrient for testosterone production, healthy fats that is. So if you eat too much protein, you're gonna have not enough room for healthy fats. So that's not enough room for saturated fats, not enough room for monounsaturated fats, and obviously, you know, not enough room for carbohydrates. Right now, carbs are not essential, right? But they're very important for testosterone production simply because if you have a very stressful lifestyle, or you work out a lot, you exercise a lot, you train hard, your body's going to release cortisol. There's no way around it. Your body's going to release cortisol to try to break down your protein and fat into glucose for the brain. And obviously, if cortisol goes up, testosterone is antagonized through many different pathways. So the more carbohydrates you have, I could make a whole separate video about carbohydrates, but even though carbohydrates are not essential, they are very important for increasing testosterone by keeping cortisol down, by freeing up sex hormone binding globulin, which is going to give you more free testosterone, increasing IGF-1 and DHT. I could go on and on about that. But long story short, the main reason why eating too much protein leads to lower testosterone levels in a vast amount of studies is because you're getting less fats and you're getting less carbohydrates, right? Depending on the person, of course, right? Depends. If, like, say, if you're not very, very active, you don't train hard, then you don't need a lot of carbohydrates. Also, keep in mind that if you're cutting, chances are you also need a higher protein intake to prevent muscle loss. So it depends on the person, but on average, right? These polls are on average, just like most studies are on average, right? Too much protein, way more than what your body needs, will lead to a decrease in testosterone. Now, the second reason why that's going to happen is because the urea cycle, right? If you eat too much protein, based on your genetics, it varies from person to person. It's going to be very hard for your body to get rid of extra nitrogen, right? Your urea cycle is going to be all fucked up. So your body's going to have to lower testosterone because testosterone also suppresses the urea cycle. So your body's going to have to lower testosterone in order to, improve the urea cycle. So you don't have too much ammonia. So that's another reason why too much protein can lead to issues, right? If your liver doesn't have, if you have too much protein, your body's gonna be like, fuck, man, we have to get rid of this extra ammonia, but it's very hard to do that through the urea cycle because testosterone suppresses it, blah, 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 blah. So your body's gonna increase cortisol, lower testosterone. But there are other reasons as well, but those are the top two reasons why too much protein can be bad for you. But like I said, it depends on the person, depends on your macros, depends on your goals, whatever. Now let's look at the comments. All right, first comment. Here's why it technically could be true. Let's say you eat 80% plus protein or something astronomically high. You couldn't get enough essential fats and you occasionally. Correct. Perfect. That's literally what I just went over. And your occasional carbs source optimized almost. Yep, yep. Let's see. There's also the correlation thing, right? Most people who are eating very high protein intakes are usually cutting, and cutting obviously decreases testosterone. In fact, it crushes testosterone depending on the how lean you are and how extended the deficit is. But anyway, next, 35% is nowhere. Let me see. 35% is nowhere near too much, and in many cases can be too little. This reminds me of that one guy you always talk about in your videos. There can be too much of anything. Really, the only issue with too much protein is too little fat. But you need way more than 35% protein to not be able to fit enough there. Yeah, so it kind of, like I said earlier, it depends on the person and their macros and their goals, whatever. But over 35%, for most people, tends to be too high. Because let's do some basic math. Let's see. Let me pull this out. Let's say a person is eating 2,500 calories. 35% is 875. So divide that by 4. That's 218 grams of protein, right? A person is eating 218 grams of protein off of 2,500 calories. Something is wrong. Something is wrong, right? Because, if there's no way you're eating 2,500 there's no way you're eating 2,500 calories and you're just maintaining, right? If you need, 1 gram per pound of body weight and you're 218 pounds, you got to eat, at 200 pounds, you got to eat at least 3,000, if not 3,500 calories, unless you're extremely sedentary. So 218 grams of protein, that's kind of high for most people, especially if they're eating, let's say, 2,500 calories. But like I said, I don't want to make the video too complicated. It depends. This is so situational. But for most people, 35% is too much. If you're training hard, trust me, you need carbohydrates and you also need your healthy fats. Now, if a person is cutting, like I said earlier, then maybe they can get away with that. But I would not recommend the average person who weighs, normal weight, let's say anywhere between, if it's a beginner, around 150 to maybe, let's say, 180. I won't recommend anyone in that range to eat so much protein that they're not getting enough carbohydrates and healthy fats. And trust me, I'm a big proponent of protein, because most people are not eating enough quality protein, which is a topic for a whole different video. Just because somebody's eating 150 grams of protein does not mean they're getting 150 grams of quality protein. A lot of that could be from oatmeal and fucking plant products and shit. But let's stay focused. Did not know, but guess true because of the inverted U curve thingy. All right, there you go. Somebody who watches the videos. There's an inverted U curve to anything. Anything that I recommend for you guys. Anything that I say is good for you follows an inverted U curve. Everything, whether it's water, sleep, sunlight, all the basics that I say, hey guys, focus on the basics. Everything has an inverted U curve. Too much of a good thing will kill you, and even too little of a bad thing can be, bad for you. Like cortisol, I always bitch about cortisol, but if you bring your cortisol to 0, you are fucked. But anyway, a small man once said, "What is an inverted U?" All right, so he definitely watches the videos. It's true. I always try to avoid protein at all costs. Under 10% of your daily calories is ideal. I mean, I wouldn't be that extreme, but like I said, it depends on the person. Also, if you're bulking, then you could be close to 10% of your calories from protein. The more calories you're getting from carbs and fats, the less protein you need. Significantly less. For example, I recommend 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Obviously, lean body weight. If you're 400 pounds obese, you're not going to eat 400 grams of protein. Or 1 gram of protein per centimeter of height. So if you're 180 centimeters, you want to be close to 170, 180. But that number drastically goes down, right? That requirement drastically goes down if the person is in a caloric surplus. So if you're bulking, you do not need 1 gram per pound of body weight of protein. You need way less than that. Because again, if you're bulking, the vast majority of your calories are coming from obviously carbs and fats. Your body has plenty of energy, so it has no reason to destroy protein for energy. If you're cutting, then that's a different story. But like I said, that's a topic for a different video. I don't think so. In fact, I noticed that during the summer when I was cutting, I would get between 280 to 400 grams of protein per day, and I was more driven towards my goals. So like I said earlier, if you're cutting, it's completely different. And again, this depends on your height, your weight, things like that. But trust me, if you're eating that much protein, a lot of it is going to poop. A lot of it is being just flushed out of the body. It's definitely not going to muscle mass. Trust me. And I think I made a video explaining to you guys how little protein actually goes to building muscle. Such a small amount. I call it the 3 grams of the 3 grams of protein rule. You need 3 grams of additional protein a day, additional synthesized protein, right? Protein that's actually going into muscle tissue. You need 3 grams a day to put on a pound of muscle a day. A pound of muscle a month. Think about that. To put on a pound of muscle a month, which is a lot. A pound of muscle a month, that's 12 pounds at the end of the year. That's a lot of muscle. But you need 3 grams of additional protein being synthesized into your muscle tissue a day just to put on a pound. Think about that for a second. Meanwhile, so if you're eating 200 grams of protein a day, I'm pretty sure you're not putting on a pound of muscle a month, right? So that means where's most of that protein going, right? A small percentage is going to obviously protein turnover, repairing your tissues, but the vast majority is being burned for energy, which is it's a waste of money because protein is so expensive, right? Don't use protein for energy. But anyway, hard to eat that much protein with a big amount of fats unless you're eating rabbits. I believe there's a study about that. Bet sources of protein, but little facts, da da da. True, assuming you can get enough fats and carbs. Yeah, all right, all right. I have some smart subscribers, man. Assuming you can get enough fats and carbs, da da da. While I was in the minority here, didn't expect it. I heard that if you have enough carbs, you can get away. Yeah, yeah. If you have enough carbs, you can get away with much less than a gram a pound per body weight. The reason why I recommend a gram of protein per pound of body weight is because most people are not getting enough carbs. Most people are not getting enough fats, and their body's just melting their muscle away. But if you're getting enough carbs, or if you carb backloading, you're eating a ton of carbs to fuel your workouts, getting your healthy fats, you do not need a gram of protein per pound of body weight. Um, even from that gravity transmission, guys, I'm assuming that's from very recent studies. I'm not even talking about. All right, I'm guessing doctors say it's pictures as well. I wonder why. Now, for once, this is actually not a scheme from doctors. Like I said, most doctors are clueless anyway, but it's actually true because of calories. It's actually true because all calories from carbs and fat are more important, and the more protein you eat, the less. All right, smart guy, smart guy. I mean, dying can certainly take a number on your chest, but let's see, too much, yes, but definitely a lot more than 35%. Only if it's causing very low carbon fat. Correct. If it's causing very low carbon fat intake, and for most people, if they're only eating 35%, if they're getting 35% of the calories from protein, for most people, they're not getting enough healthy fats. It's very hard to get enough monounsaturated fats and saturated fats, while also getting the carbs that you need to train. If your protein is high. Let's see. If your protein is too high, I should say, right? Because I definitely, I'm a very big proponent of high protein, just not too high protein. When I say high protein, I mean like 1 gram per pound of body weight or close to that. That's actually considered high protein because that's double the RDA. The RDA is like half of that. I think the RDA is 0.8 grams per kilograms, which is such a low amount. So when I say high protein, I'm talking about way higher than the RDA. I do not mean high protein as in like, oh my God, I weigh 150 pounds and I'm going to eat 400 grams of protein. No. All right, they say, but I don't believe it. No, they're actually right this time. I hope you trash talk me. This is a fantastic question because why would I randomly want to trash talk somebody? It's a fantastic question because most people instantly think of the keto diet. Dude, this is too long. I'm not gonna read all this, bro. It is false, but prioritizing protein to a point where you're eating that much makes you eat less fruits, vegetables, carbs. Yeah, so you're technically right, right? Again, it all goes back to are you eating the rest of your nutrients? They also tell you that, guys, you can't put all studies in the same bracket, right? Not all scientists are evil. Not all studies are bad, right? Again, you guys are too extreme. There's a lot of amazing studies out there, just like there's a lot of shitty studies out there. That's why I always say never rely on just one study. You want to read hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of studies on the topic. But yeah, don't put all studies and all scientists in the same category. I mean, there's clearly studies that say you should sleep. Are we going to stop sleeping because studies say you should sleep? There's studies that say you should lift weights. In fact, a gazillion studies in the last 10 years are saying how much people should resistance train. Are they out to get us by telling us to lift weights? So be very careful how you interpret things. No, protein does not decrease testosterone levels. I mean, the post does not say protein. It says too much protein. But anyway, I think as long as you have your fast and sleep, yep, you see the energy up. All right, too long. Doesn't hurt, but protein can destroy your wallet because protein is so expensive. Yeah, it's so expensive. Especially high quality protein. But like I said, if you're eating enough carbs and fats and enough calories, you don't need as much protein. But if you're not eating enough carbs and fats, then you do need more protein. All right, next. Let's see. I don't know the specifics, but I know one thing. When I started Carnivore, even in deficit, I started a drastic change in my energy levels and my sex drive increase. There's too many confounding factors. When people hop on the Carnivore diet, again, depending on the person, right? There are so many confounding factors. One, obviously, they're eating more eggs and red meat, so that's going to increase your testosterone levels, independent of how much protein you're getting. They're eating less inflammatory foods. They're eating less seed oils. They're eating less PUFAs, right? Less polyunsaturated fats. So there's many confounding factors that can lead to an increase in testosterone on the carnivore diet. And it depends on the person, especially if they were very inflamed by the previous diet. Not to mention on the carnivore diet, the person is getting a lot more choline, a lot more B vitamins. Like I said, there's so many confounding factors. So it's not because of the protein that your T levels went up. It could be because of the nutrients. All right, come on now. Using quick math too long. LOL. Most protein sources are supposed to be produced. Yeah, guys. Again, protein is amazing for you. Remember, read the post. It says too much protein. It doesn't say protein. You need protein for everything in a human body. Let's see. Protein doesn't. All right. Trust the science. Yeah. Well. Yeah. See. Again, you guys are lumping all the science into one category. By the way, I can't mention the keyword because I don't want to get more demonetized and more shadow banned than I already am. But stop equating this the jab, the V word, with science. That shit was not science. That shit was all politics. It was a bunch of politicians trying to impose their wills on others and trying to use science as a Trojan horse, right? So don't say, oh well, look, the VACC whatever, that's equal to no. They politicians, crooked politicians, try to use science as a Trojan horse to push their shitty agenda. That does not mean that science as a whole is bad. That makes no sense. But I think hold on. I asked the gorilla and he said just eat plenty. He flexed his arms. Amazing the lack of knowledge in this group. Yeah, and this poll was pretty bad. Protein sources matter in this conversation. Da, da, da. All right, so I think that answers all the questions. I'm gonna do the same thing for the next polls. So go out and vote if you haven't already. Don't forget to join the Discord where we engage in more conversations such as this. And yeah, see you guys in the next video. All right, guys, don't forget to like or share the video, subscribe and hit the bell, and buy my HSP Nucleus of a Low training program. It's the ultimate program for maximum muscle growth. It includes full body workout splits, bro splits, push pull, home workouts, you name it. Also comes with a complete guide for macros, nutrition, fat loss, muscle growth, hormones, including a meal plan. It's pretty much all my 16 years of experience condensed into one fucking book. You're also going to get free copies of any future edition. So visit team3dalpha.com and you can use the 40% off coupon code Nucleus Overload. Or you could just buy the shit at full price. All right, guys, I'm out of here.